I just think Data is one of my favorite characters on SNG.
Data's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But would you rather have the intelligence or the eyesight? That's the bottom line here.
One is one's becoming a robot, and the other one is, having a thing on your eyes. I don't want to be a robot, if that's the question.
You're going for the super sight.
Yeah,
Jordy super sight. All right, there we go. We answered that question.
Oh, no,
we'll answer
live.
a lot of other questions today. Hello, everyone tuning in right now, live on YouTube. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly show where we talk about television and movies and the hard-hitting questions like whether you'd rather be Geordi from Star Trek or Data from Star Trek and many other things. So
that's right. Speaking of Star Trek.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of that coming up. So we're going to be talking about Star Trek, things that are going on at Comic-Con. I'm Greg Nibbler.
And I'm Ryan
Can't say my own name, apparently.
That's all right.
So let's go ahead and get started with this. Yes, with Star Trek. Now, I was talking about this because there was a Beavis and Butthead episode years ago, which brought up that question of whether you'd rather have Geordi's eyesight or Data's intelligence. But we'll talk about more important things right now, which is this weekend.
Star Trek Beyond.
Absolutely.
Which is on the heels of the 50th anniversary of the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And this one is a different kind of Star Trek from what we know now. Rick Marshall, our reviewer, went and saw it last night and really enjoyed it. It's getting really positive reviews, but it's Justin Lin directed. For those who don't know that, J.J. Abrams stepped away from the franchise to do his Star Wars thing, which he also stepped away from to produce. I don't know. He's a busy man.
Everything.
Yeah, he just starts it up and then he gets out.
Right.
But yeah, so this one looks really fun. It's supposed to be the most frantic and frenetically paced Star Trek in the new series. It's basically them bounding from one action adventure scene to the next with barely enough time to catch their breath, as far as Rick tells us.
Which, for some people, I know some hardcore Star Trek fans don't like that aspect because they like Star Trek as more the thinking person's show. They have to work out what's going on and they talk it through, and there's a lot more of that instead of the action.
From what Rick says and from what we've also read around the web, and knowing that Simon Pegg had a big hand in this script, it's a clever script. It's very straightforward. They said that with all the action that's in it, it still manages to keep a pretty decent narrative going. And as Rick was saying, and it makes a lot of sense. We don't need to know that much more about these characters. I mean, they did a lot of character development in the first one, but if you don't know these guys by now,
then maybe
you're probably never going to. Now, we also have the alternate timeline for the new Star Trek, so, Spock is dating Uhura, which is definitely not what you would know from old Star Trek stuff. But these guys have 2 movies under their belt. They've established their new, their rebooted Star Trek character development. And so it's like, I don't mind at all jumping in a blockbuster, free-for-all, fun time.
Get to see.
And we haven't had a lot of those movies this summer that have been very good either.
Right. And you get to see Kirk do what Kirk, does.
Go punch some dudes.
Yeah, punch some aliens and then...
be all brawling.
Make out with some alien chick. That's pretty much... That's what Kirk does.
That's what Kirk is supposed to do.
That's what he's supposed to do. I mean...
He's not Picard. That's the thing.
Right.
Kirk has never been the thinking man Star Trek. He's all brawn. I'm going to get in there and get my hands dirty.
Punches first, and then he'll
exactly.
He leads the nerds to deal with
and
the math.
And brings an alien into his bed afterwards.
Right,
I'll see you guys in the morning.
you figure out how to fly this thing.
Exactly. So I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be good. Like we said, it's 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, which is great.
A really good popcorn flick.
Well, and it is, it's a great cast that they've got going. Also,
Absolutely.
in this one,
Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, Zachary Quinto.
So
he's
good.
great at Spock. That was a perfect casting.
I like Chris Pine, and I really love Carl Urban.
Yeah.
I guess Bones and Spock have a lot of fun sparring moments in this one from what I've seen. And it's fun because Simon Pegg's in it. But he wrote the script, and I guess he saved most of the good lines for Spock,
that's cool.
Spock and Bones, which is kind of nice.
That's awesome.
At least that's what the UK's Sun reviewer tells us. Yeah.
I know that the villain too, also Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, who's one of my favorite people in Hollywood.
Yeah, Idris Elba just knocks it out of the park pretty much every time.
In fact, that's one of the hesitations that Rick had about recommending it was just that Idris Elba didn't get enough character development. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, he's the bad guy.
Yeah,
and I guess he's just kind of jumps on screen and doesn't
just you
don't know
that
I'm
much
a bad
about
guy,
him. And then
I mean, it kind of sounds like Galaxy Quest if you've seen that movie.
Yes, yeah, I love Galaxy
where
Quest.
the alien bad guys are super evil.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right.
So we're recommending it, and we think it's going to be good. I'm going to go probably see it sometime. If not I'm going to be in Tahoe this weekend, but I'll try to see it next week.
I'm going to be in Tahoe this weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Tahoe.
Going down to the chalet in Tahoe this weekend.
Yeah, no, I can barely afford it.
All right, so Star Trek Beyond out right now. You can go check it out. Definitely, we are recommending it.
And by the way, this is our weekend box office preview, so we have a couple others to talk about for you.
Yes.
Including the next one.
Lights Out?
Yeah.
Lights Out. So you may have seen, and we've talked about this a few episodes ago, but Lights Out was a kind of a YouTube phenomenon where it was, how long was it? 60, I mean, 120
Yeah, it was
seconds?
like 3 minutes.
3 minutes at most?
Yeah, and it won an award.
Yeah.
I think it won like a Canadian short film award. And so they made it into a full blockbuster, or full horror movie.
Yeah.
Not a blockbuster.
Well,
but
the 3 minutes was so great.
Yeah. And what it is there's a monster, and he or she or it can only exist basically when the lights are out.
Yeah. So as soon as you turn the lights off, it's there. You turn it on, you just see it for a quick flash.
Right. You see it in the shadows, and then you turn the lights on and it's gone. Mm-hmm. And it's such a freaky idea.
Yeah.
So scary. And you can even see it right there. And this is getting pretty good reviews too. I mean, you never know with horror movies. Like, I mean, some people just hate horror movies, and they might be great anyway because bad horror can still be good horror.
It can still be good.
Yeah.
I mean,
but yeah, this one's getting pretty good reviews too. We talked about this as a Between the Cracks long time ago.
Yeah.
When it first was getting trailers that we were excited about it. So this is sort of a good alternative for you this weekend if you don't want to see Star Trek. And then I have one more alternative after this to talk about, which is just quickly, it's Don't Think Twice, which is a new indie comedy by Mike Birbiglia, I believe is his name.
And I wasn't as familiar with.
Yeah, you may have seen him. He's had a few like comedy specials. I think he's had like a Netflix special or maybe a Comedy Central special or two. Funny guy. I think this is his first like real directing or writing debut. But this looks really fun. It's got a great cast. It's got Keegan-Michael Key in it, Jillian Jacobs, and Kate... I'm gonna
Micucci.
I'm not gonna work here anymore. Kate Micucci, and she's from Garfunkel and Oates, which is a potential show if you haven't seen it. There's only one season, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, they've got a lot of videos too.
Yeah, and they're music. Online. They're kind of a Flight of the Conchords spinoff.
Exactly. Yeah,
but they're really funny.
Yeah, they're great.
So this is another one. This is actually at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
How is it 100%?
Well, it just means that everybody.
No one has ever.
It just means that everybody agrees it's worth seeing. It doesn't mean that everybody thinks it's the best movie in the universe.
It's like Saddam Hussein's elections, where it's like 100% voted for me. Like,
well, Rotten Tomatoes is tricky. You can't just take it as you know, as gospel because it's just saying we all agree it's worth seeing.
Okay.
So this is, I think they have like 32 reviews in, and all of them agreed it was. So all
totally 32 people have said it's worth seeing. Okay.
Yeah, it looks funny. So. We think Star Trek is the big one to see if you want a popcorn flick, but the horror movie and the comedy are both, I think, going to be good choices. It's going to be a good little weekend at the box office.
That's great.
It should be fun.
That's great. So Don't Think Twice.
Yeah, that is the second alternative, I should say.
Okay, there are some other ones. That are out this weekend. That if you're looking for more opportunities,
there's Ice Age Collision Course, and I was gonna say stay away from this anyway because this franchise just won't die. I mean, Fox made a lot of money off this thing.
Proud to say I've never seen an Ice Age movie. I've never seen
one either. It's the first two apparently are decent enough to watch. This one is like just getting destroyed. Everyone hates it. It's like 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I
mean, I took a look at this. There have been. I didn't realize this. Yeah. This is the fifth.
Is it the fifth?
Ice Age? I
thought it was the
movie.
Fourth.
The fifth one. This is Ice Age 5 Collision Course.
And so
then there's
the
a
plot
bunch of
with
short
this one
ones too.
They introduce aliens into the plot.
Of course, because that makes a lot of sense.
It's how they killed the Indiana Jones franchise. Oh, they didn't kill it. It's coming.
Oh no, it's
still pretty
back.
strong.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It's how they got people mad about the Indiana.
I don't know.
Jones
I guarantee
franchise.
the thing is with all of these animated like the Ice Age ones and everything along those lines. All I picture is I guarantee at some point in there's going to be a bunch of dancing penguins dancing to like Beyonce or something, and there'll be a sassy penguin that tells the other penguins what's going on.
I don't know if there's any penguins in this.
There's a goofy furry animal that falls down a lot, and boom,
there is a goofy furry animal. He's like the main dude, and like
then boom, there's an Ice Age.
All
movie.
I've seen in the footage is like he's like a little muskrat or something.
Ice Age 6,
and he's just flying around in a spaceship getting beat up. He's like the best.
Why would you?
He's like the best part of the series though, because his part of the series is just to get his ass kicked, basically.
Okay, and that's it.
Yeah, and he's like the physical comic relief.
And then there's a sassy penguin. That's what
I don't remember the penguin.
I'm telling you, there's a sassy penguin in there
So
somewhere.
stay away from Ice Age. If you got kids and you got to go see a movie, see Finding Dory again, or see The Secret Life of Pets, which is pretty decent too, from what we've heard.
Yeah, that's.
I saw Finding Dory and it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, you love Finding Dory.
If you haven't seen that yet, it's so good. Oh,
you were the biggest Finding Dory supporter I think I've ever.
Actually, it's not just me.
I know
Because Finding Dory just this week broke the biggest animated film box office record ever.
Wow.
It is now the biggest animated film ever created. And it's also number 10 on the list of highest grossing films in U.S. history.
It surpassed The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, domestically
Damn.
it did really well. I don't think it's 10th globally, but in U.S. history it's 10th. And it's somewhere around $730 million globally right now. So it's going to push $1 billion.
That's doing pretty well.
That's what happens when you take a really, really loved film that people wanted a sequel for and you bring it back like 10 years later.
Yeah.
You know? Or 13 years later. It's like you've got the nostalgia factor, you've still got the band together, so I think everything worked in this plus the name recognition.
Yeah.
You got $1 billion movie.
There it is. $1 billion.
Yep.
Finding Dory. So that one is still out. You can still go check that out.
Ready to see that, yeah.
So that's in the box office.
That's it, yeah.
Stuff right now. Well, let's see.
I want to talk Stranger Things.
Oh, I do too. Let's go straight to that.
Who doesn't want to talk Stranger Things?
I don't want to give away spoilers,
No.
but it's on Netflix. We talked about this last week. It's only been out for a week, really.
And the big news this week, aside from the fact that we've all seen it and it's freaking amazing.
And if you haven't,
I haven't seen all of it yet. I've only seen 6 episodes.
I wish
I've
I
got
could
2
watch it
more
for the
to
first
go.
time again.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's...
But so what we heard today is that Matthew Modine promised there's going to be a season 2. Which should be interesting because I haven't seen the end, but you say that that's going to be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, and I mean, I can say, since I finished it, so Stranger Things on Netflix, we'll go into it a little bit more. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but if you like anything from the 80s or have any nostalgia about 80s movies, E.T., Goonies, Explorers...
Yeah, I mean, essentially
X-Files.
Essentially, the series is, as far as I'm concerned, rewriting the homage genre.
Mm-hmm.
It has piled in just about anything that you can think of, and somehow it's able to create a cool and fun narrative with that.
And original.
It's
I mean,
I hesitate to call it original.
Well, there are takes from other things.
It does tread its own path.
But it's its own story, and it's so fun to watch.
I mean, I've counted at least 10 direct 80s callbacks. I'm talking about actual scenes that they're almost recreating. Or at least... But it's not recreating as much as it's like an homage to it.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
And it is really scratching your nostalgia itch like just about nothing else out there.
I mean, even the intro.
The intro to me
with the crackle
is the best part.
You know.
So again, spoiler free, but what it'll do every episode is give you a really awesome cold open, and it shuts, and it ends on like a sort of not quite a cliffhanger, but something like shocking happens, and then you're sort of like, whoa! It's almost like its own like mini episode.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the intro comes in and it's super 80s, and it's just gorgeous. It's like it reminded you of Amazing Stories, sort of.
Yes,
is
Amazing
that right?
Stories.
Yeah, which was an 80s series that I loved as a kid.
Oh, it was so good.
Very Twilight Zone-esque.
Yeah.
And this has a lot of tinges of Twilight Zone. But yeah, I feel like it borrows from everything, Goonies to 16 Candles to Close Encounters to E.T.
Yeah, all of it.
That's all in there.
All of it. If you like any of those, you'll love this series.
And also, let's say that the cast is fantastic.
They did a really good job.
Yeah. The kids especially, because you never know what you're going to get with a bunch of kids. It centers around sort of a Goonies-style group of kids. They're sort of the dorks and, or the nerds, I guess. They're the Dungeons and Dragons guys.
Yeah.
But they're really fun, and there's a kid with a power that they discover.
Right.
We don't want to talk too much about it.
You've
seen it
get
in the
that
trailers.
in the trailers. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, again, watch it. It's well worth your time to watch
So
it.
fantastic.
If you watch anything on television this weekend, watch Stranger Things.
The other thing that's really interesting about it, though, that we notice is my girlfriend and I have been watching 1 to 2 episodes a night because we've been really busy lately. Packing up for Tahoe.
Right. Yeah. To the chalet.
But no, it's been crazy with work and all that kind of stuff. But it's very it really begs to be binged.
Yeah.
It begs you to watch 4 or 5 episodes together.
And that's how I pretty much did it.
Yeah. Jeff Van Camp, our deputy editor here at Digital Trends, explains it as it's one really long 80s movie. Basically, and that's how it plays. So that's why it's really binge worthy.
There are, I'll say this, once you finish it, and you don't want to do this until you finish the series, but there are some really good interviews with the directors and the creators.
The Duffer Brothers.
The Duffer Brothers.
Another brother team.
Another brothers.
Those brothers, they get out there.
Right? So with them about where things could go.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in season 2, or if they're...
But how many...
Again, I don't want to give away too much, but I would just say this. Definitely look up their interviews after you're done. You'll find it interesting.
I'm just saying...
Do not beforehand, though. It spoils everything.
You got to get your brother together because, like, that's what Hollywood's all about.
I know, right?
We got the Russo brothers.
Right.
We got the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
We got the Duffer brothers.
Duffer brothers.
We got the Duplass brothers.
Damn.
I mean, brothers are ruling
Brothers,
Hollywood.
yeah, brothers are taking over. All right, that's what we got to do then.
So brothers.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, speaking
Stranger
of
Things.
Stranger Things,
like it.
definitely check it out. Highly, highly worth it. All right, well, one other side note, too, since we're talking about nostalgia and going back, something that I didn't even realize was still being created were the VCRs.
Isn't that insane?
VCRs.
I mean, I work in the audio video field, and I didn't realize the VCRs. I mean, here we are talking about the new 4K HDR Blu-ray players that have just hit the market, and that is 4 iterations after VCR.
Yeah, so the VCRs were apparently still being made, and the last one is going to be built this month. The last VCR, still new VCRs.
They were still being made by a company. What's the company's name? Funai. And they're sold under the Sanyo name here in the U.S. But the crazy thing is...
Where do you go to buy a VCR?
I don't know. But do you know... They sold 750,000 VCRs in 2015. It's one of those things where it's like, how is AOL still... Like, AOL still has like 14 million people that use it like daily.
Is Angel Fire still a thing?
It's like there's so many people out there that things can exist that shouldn't still exist.
Right, there's still that market. Like somebody got into the VCRs and they're like, DVDs, not for me.
This is our thing.
I'm gonna stick with this.
We make VCRs.
Yeah.
Well, there's still places.
We make the best VCRs.
There's still places making cassette tapes. We know that. And of course, vinyl's back in a big way. But vinyl actually gives you high sound quality if you've got the right system, and it's like so fun. Like you get all the artwork, and it's like you've got like a piece of. I mean, I don't know, VCR.
This almost seems like
I don't think VCRs are going to be the next final.
Like it could be a Netflix comedy, a company that just really sticking to the VCRs.
Oh my God,
and like
that's
going
a great
out
idea.
Selling those VCRs or Walkman or something.
We're gonna write it.
Never mind. Yeah.
Don't.
Trademarked.
Sorry, you guys.
Cut that out.
Can't talk about that.
It could be pretty good. Could be pretty good.
So that's going down. So get your VCRs now.
Yeah.
If you've been saving up for a VCR, and you just
that second market, buy them all up now because they're not making any more.
That's right.
That's what it is.
That's right.
All right.
I'm talking eBay, folks.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to what is happening this weekend. The big thing happening down in San Diego, Comic-Con.
Yes.
Where there's going to be, as usual, there's a bunch of reveals and a bunch of different things that come out, usually a lot of trailers for upcoming shows. And so far, it is starting off absolutely fantastic.
With a bang.
Yeah, and it's going back to Netflix again, which with their Marvel franchise that is just on Netflix, of course, starting off with Daredevil and then going to Jessica Jones. And now the next series that they're going to be having is Luke Cage. And the trailer came out for Luke Cage today. Absolutely looks incredible.
Yeah. Well, isn't it so funny? I mean, Netflix came out with an earnings report earlier this week, and they didn't do as well in earnings or subscriber growth as people wanted, and the stock just flopped. But when you look at this company, the way that they're creating their content, they're owning it, man. I mean, Amazon doesn't even come close with the content, and Hulu is, I feel like, a distant second still too.
Oh yeah.
Hulu's making some great comedy, but they're not making a lot of great series like this. Marvel's deal with Netflix has just produced some real gems.
Every one of them so far.
And Luke Cage looks like it's going to be another one. If you watch this trailer, what's really fun about it is, of course, his deal is he's super strong and he has impenetrable skin.
Right. So bullets can't.
Which is like kind of an interesting way to be impenetrable. It's the skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like layered in diamond basically. But it's so fun the way he sort of is creative in the trailer. You see him rip a car door off and bash into like a gangster like ghetto fortress.
Yeah.
And just start kicking ass.
And part of it too,
and he's such a good character.
And the backing track for the trailer kind of gives the idea of where they're going with it.
That was my favorite part.
Old Dirty Bastard.
Was it Wu-Tang or was it just ODB?
I think that's just ODB.
It sounds very Wu-Tang.
It is. I mean, it's
exactly.
ODB. So I can't remember if that was his own or if that was.
It's probably RZA beats. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a RZA beat.
Could be. Well, and that's part of what the showrunner Chio Coker. I don't know how you say his first name.
That sounds about right.
Chio,
Ko?
Ko. Well, one of those things.
Yeah.
Cheerio, Coker. He says
like that
that
better.
the name of every episode on this Luke Cage season was the name of a Gang Starr album. Gang Starr.
Rad.
The group.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he wants Luke Cage to be the quote Wu-Tangification of the Marvel universe.
And
I'm
what
all
a
for
great
that.
idea!
That's awesome.
And that's what's fun about all these series so far is you've gotten all these different dimensions. With Jessica Jones, we got sort of the film noir dimension. With Daredevil, it was like this gritty, like guy won't stop getting up, dimension.
Yeah.
He's got like strange powers that. I mean, I guess Jessica Jones and Daredevil were equally gritty, but it was definitely two different facets of that.
Yeah.
And now Luke Cage is going to be another facet.
Yeah.
And we know Luke Cage ties into the Jessica Jones universe. That's where he was introduced.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
now he gets to do his own thing, and it looks like it's going to be really fun.
Well, and eventually they're all forming into the Defenders,
Right.
which is the 4 team up. And we also get our first look. I believe today was the first real video look.
Yeah, there's been a few tiny things out
Little
there.
things, yeah. But
of the Iron Fist.
Of Iron Fist, which is the 4th to the Defenders that are going to be teaming up for Netflix, for the Defenders series on Netflix.
And Iron Fist looks really fun.
Iron Fist looks great. So it's the star of it is Finn Jones, who played Loras Tyrell in Game of Thrones.
Right. You can't. It's hard to recognize him with the beard.
Yeah, he doesn't really look like him.
Yeah.
Basic premise. It's we were talking about this before the show.
I tried to look up the history because I wasn't a huge comic book guy growing up. I love it. The iterations of it as they've been portrayed in film.
Right.
But I haven't followed the comics that much, and this one is very convoluted. I mean, I was looking it up, and it's like trying to read Genesis or something.
Yeah. It gets very very complicated, but I think they'll probably simplify it quite a bit for the.
I mean, the basic thing is he learns like magical kung fu.
Yeah, and he's got a special.
He does
power.
the Iron Fist, which is this power that he gets through defeating this evil being in this mystical city that only appears once a decade.
Yeah.
In the Far East.
And he's on a vengeance mission, of course, because they're all on vengeance missions.
And in the trailer, all you see is him punching a huge hole through like a 2-foot thick wall.
I'm really excited about this.
Sweet.
Well, and just not to go too far into it, just comics wise though, Iron Fist and Luke Cage is Power Man. That's his technical name.
Oh, really?
That's
what he is when he's a superhero.
I don't even know if they're going to incorporate that.
Because Jessica Jones, I think, had a superhero name at one point too.
Yeah, I'm not
and then
sure
she
what
just
hers
dropped
was.
into Jessica Jones.
Yeah, but so it's Power Man and Iron Fist and Power Man were a whole duo for a long time. So I'm
Really?
sure there's
Okay.
going to be. I would not be surprised at all if there's some Iron Fist crossover in this upcoming season of Luke Cage to tease that. And
Right.
that the two of them cross over into each other's series.
That's how they always do it.
Yeah.
You got to bleed into the other one to bring it online.
Yeah, and I mean, in this cast for going back to Luke Cage, Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy. He was Juice in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
he was one of the best parts of Sons of Anarchy. Really, he's in Luke Cage playing. I can't remember who he's playing, but he's definitely in there.
Yeah. Well, and Mike Coulter, who plays Luke Cage, we were talking about this earlier. It seems like he's such a great choice, and it also just seems like with the golden age of TV that we've gotten lately, we've also gotten just really good casting. We were just talking about that, how it seems like casting just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it really is. I
and
mean,
it's like they don't worry about just shoehorning a star in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're fine with using new people and getting the right person for the job.
Yeah.
And that's been fun to see. I mean, that happened in Stranger Things. Those are almost all unknowns, and it's fun that they don't worry necessarily about stars as much as just good actors.
Right people. Yeah, get the right people
for
in
the
there.
role. Yeah.
So anyway, that was the big news from Comic-Con today. There's obviously going to be some more stuff coming out.
Yeah.
You were saying The Walking Dead is still.
The Walking Dead is
have
season 7 stuff is happening at 1 p.m.
I
And
just
that's
can't
the other
believe it's
thing we
still
were talking
going.
about before the show.
Yeah, it's still going. I stopped watching The Walking Dead, and I know there are a lot of diehard Walking Dead fans out there. And then the other one, what's the spinoff?
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead. I
Yeah.
still haven't watched that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like zombies have kind of faded out.
Yeah, we were talking about.
But maybe I'm wrong.
The thing is that how long can any series that's a good drama, like how long can you really go? Breaking Bad cut it off at 5. I think Mad Men cut it off nicely at 7. They were even pushing it.
Right.
Anything over like 7 series or 7 seasons is just way too long, I feel like.
Yeah.
That's why the UK drops it at like 2. I feel like that's a little too short. I like it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But especially with zombies, I mean, how much further can you go? And why can't these people ever win one? Why can't they have a season where
I think that's it. You just
they aren't accosted? Like, it's not only that they're accosted by zombies, but they're also accosted by horrible people wherever they go.
Well, and you're right. Like, there's no sense of hope ever.
Never.
So it's like, what's the point?
Of course, it's taken from the graphic novels, but graphic novels are different. You can dip into that and watch it as it goes, and of course that's gonna continue on a sort of stasis storyline. You're gonna bring in new bad guys, but it's not gonna change too much because it's a graphic novel. But you kind of expect in a TV show that characters will. I mean, I guess the characters have developed, but you just expect like once in a while they're gonna win or
right.
something.
I just don't understand. Why don't you just go to an island? Like, find an island. I mean,
because
boom.
every time they try to get anywhere, they get screwed over.
Yeah, I guess.
Or they get separated and they got to find somebody. I mean, they're really good at working in these little ways to like
keep
screw
them
up their path.
Right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Island. That's my theory.
Yeah.
That's where,
if you like The Walking Dead, that's going to be on the. The panel hits at 1 p.m. today.
All right. Well, we did have one other thing that's in the title of this episode that. Was not a misspelling.
Iron Fisting. Yeah. So this is just random. This is just random, but because Iron Fist happened today, a couple weeks ago.
Please explain Iron Fisting.
We got noticed that so Channing Tatum has his own production company, and he's making a Romanian buddy cop series. An 80s Romanian buddy cop series, supposedly.
So, is it set in Romania?
Or I think it also airs in Romania. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know. But Channing Tatum is developing it, and it's called Iron Fisting.
And so that's
it looks really funny.
Is there anything out for it yet, or is just
not really
just
the word? Made? Yeah, there actually is a poster out that you can check out on our website on Digital Trends. But yeah, we don't know much about it except
Iron Fisting.
It's an 80s Romanian, but I have a feeling they're going to be driving around like Yugos and getting into all sorts of hijinks. I don't know. It's supposed to have like a Miami Vice vibe.
Okay.
I think I think we know a little bit about it. 2 mismatched cops try to defend their communist homeland from the evils of capitalism and the West. The idea was inspired by Miami Vice, but our writer said it sounds a little bit more like Starsky and Hutch for the Eastern Bloc.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch an episode at least.
I don't know if it's even coming stateside, but we just thought it was funny because you got Iron Fist and then you got Iron Fisting.
Hey, make your choice. You make your choices there.
You do.
All right.
I'll choose Iron Fist. I don't want any Iron Fist.
That's how we'll start that off.
Yep. Oh, all right. Triple X returns.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know what to say about that.
I don't
too much.
care.
Triple X is back. Vin Diesel. If that's your thing. Oh, there you go. Xander Cage is returning.
Yeah. And Vin Diesel's going back to the franchise.
Vin Diesel.
So for those of you that liked Triple X, and his fur coat,
right, and his X tattoos, yeah. Well, there you go.
He's an X gamer. That guy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if there's really much else here to go through. I think that's probably about it for this week because
there's so much more, but it's like where do you cut it off?
Right. I mean, and we're going to find out a lot over this weekend too with Comic-Con as far as
we did have a couple of
some more reveals,
a couple of teasers this week. We got a teaser for Narcos season 2.
Yeah.
Which looks like it's going to be really good. It's sort of the tightening of the noose on Pablo Escobar, and it looks like in this season. The feds are just going to go rogue.
Well, I kind of know.
Yeah, see, I haven't finished the first
one.
I haven't finished the first one.
I'm just meaning if they're going to stick to real life.
Because it's a real thing that happened.
He doesn't make it.
Yeah, I got that part. But, I don't know. I like that series.
Oh, yeah.
The actors in that are really good, too.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, Narcos Season 2.
And Louis C.K.
And Louis C.K. has got a new series.
With Pamela Adlon that really looks a lot like Louis.
Yeah.
but with
It
Pamela
does.
Adlon.
Yeah, I mean, I like Pamela Adlon.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's
But yeah,
like
it really does.
she loves her kids, but she kind of hates them.
It's just like a female. Louis
Yeah,
C.K.
she's very like negative and stressed out
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get her, her kicks where she can. And
Right.
yeah, it looks like
That's-
it's going to be pretty funny though.
I'm sure it'll be good.
And Pamela Adlon's pretty funny.
She is great.
Yeah.
She is great. All
so
right.
look out for that. But yeah, go see Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see
Yeah,
it.
I will go see it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks fantastic. So, as always, let us know what you want to talk about. Send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com, especially because a lot of times we'll do like Between the Cracks, which is our segment where we find a series that maybe is not getting a lot of attention or people don't know about. We want to know what you're watching. So let us know, and we'll cover it. Say you have a series that you're really into, send us an email about it. We'll watch it, and we'll talk about it here on the show. And as always, we're here every Friday, usually at 2 p.m.
Yeah, we should
a little
tell,
bit early
first
this
thing,
week.
First things last. This whole episode happened in the morning today,
Right.
And I'm not a fan of that.
You are
of the morning.
Ryan is not a morning person.
I'm not a fan of the
Let's
morning.
just make that very clear.
And we had to drink coffee because you're not allowed to drink beer in the morning.
I don't think you're not allowed
and be
to.
a normal human being.
Yeah, that's true. We are in an office.
At least in an office setting, maybe on the beach.
All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Between the Streams, subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and everywhere you can find podcasts and get that. And tune in every week, watch the video, share it with your friends, and we'll be back next week with another episode.